Hey, welcome to We've Been Drinking MMA. This is the first fight on the main card of UFC Bobby Green versus Grant Dawson. This is Alex Hernandez at featherweight, 145 pounds, versus Bill Algeo. And my pick, this is back, and my pick is going to be Alex Hernandez.
Hello, this is Lousy, and my pick is going to be inside distance. But if I were to pick a fighter, my pick is going to be Bill Algeo. Bill Algeo can wrestle. He doesn't have a lot of striking defense, but when he does strike, it's with intention. He's throwing heat. So, Alex Hernandez, he's gotten better with striking defense, but it's not great. So they stop a lot of punches with their face. Both of these guys.
Yep. Hence the KO prediction.
The KO inside distance prediction for sure. Bill Algeo has the reason he gets punched a lot is because he has that karate style with his hands by his waist. He kicks a lot. Hernandez used to have his hands open. That's why he's trying to counter.
He got bloodied up.
A lot of
Many
fights. A lot of fights. He's thrown with intention as well. That's why he has a gas tank. That's only one round. This is a one-round type of fight. So I think first round knockout by one of these people.
It's going to be exciting first round.
Yeah.
Fast starters, right? Both of them are fast starters. It's going to be very interesting. This is Bill Algeo is the favorite, minus 140, 140 to make 100. And it's a close fight on the odds. 1 inch reach advantage for Algeo. He's 6 feet tall, which is super tall for a featherweight. Hernandez is only 5'9". Even though Alex Hernandez is a light, he is more of a 155er. He hasn't had the same success. He fought Jim Miller at 155, but this is a featherweight fight, isn't it? So Hernandez is essentially going back down in weight, which, that's the problem. Another problem with gas tank. This is at featherweight at 145, so
he has to cut that weight.
He has to cut that weight, and he fought Billy Q, at 145, and the gas tank issue happened. Maybe a KO is that I realize that it's a featherweight fight. I don't like Hernandez at featherweight at all because of the whole gas tank issue. I don't know why he's fighting at featherweight. I'm sure they were just saying, hey, listen, you're fighting high. You versus Bill would be a great fight. Why don't you go down to featherweight again? And, I'm changing my opinion. I'll be honest. Because this is 10 whole pounds here.
With the UFC, if you do take fights that aren't your weight class, you do get more money, so...
You do get more money, but the problem is that when you do something like this, you've had a bad, gas tank issues at featherweight, and now you're going back to featherweight. Man, all the things that I was thinking about was like if he fought at 155, which is his natural weight, and he's a strong guy, he's built. So to cut weight, it's really hard to do, and you start to really, you don't have much fat on his body. He's a very strong guy, so then, you just have to drain yourself the week of the fight. Who the hell knows who's going to show up? So. This is one of those fights where I'll still
one round.
Man, I even said in my head, man, I was looking at this fight and I was like, oh yeah, Hernandez at lightweight, he's looking better, but this is a featherweight fight, man. I'm thinking about actually staying away from this fight now. And
in general.
For
picking a fight, or do you think
it's
inside the distance?
Inside the distance is a very, very nice proposal. I would love to see the odds on that on Wednesday when it comes out, Tuesday or Wednesday when it comes out on DraftKings.
As long as it's reasonable.
If it's plus money on a KO, oh hell yes, I'm thinking about that. You know what I mean? I'm thinking
plus
about
anything.
That seriously. Plus anything.
Plus anything.
Yeah, bet 100 to give me 101, and I'll be thinking about a KO. Especially with Hernandez with gas tank issues. Especially that. And Algeo punches hard.
With his hands down.
Oh, God, yeah. And Algeo is a guy that just keeps going. He has an arsenal of kicks, and he's all types of kicks from all these different angles. He plays cat and mouse games with people. He draws them in, and then he can counterpunch KO you with short punches with power. That's why it was a dangerous fight to begin with, and why he's the favorite. Now I realize for sure. Why he's a favorite is because it's his weight class, man. And there's a reason why people stay at their weight classes. Not only for you don't want to move up in weight against a guy who's bigger than you.
You know where you're getting.
Your body is at that weight for a reason. When you cut and you've had bad performances in the past, like 2 fights ago against Billy Q, where he gassed and he got bloodied up and knocked out. That's the thing that thinks in my head. Okay, in featherweight, he's had 2 losses in a row at featherweight, right? So that's what I'm thinking about. I don't think about how he's improving anymore. I'm just like, dude, gas tank issues. Why is he taking this fight? This could be a money grab, and this could be a fight that ends quickly for either guy. You know, maybe Hernandez just says, you know what, I'm losing gas. Let's go. And Algeo will be his dance partner. Algeo will throw, and he will throw kicks and everything.
In the phone booth.
In the phone booth, Algeo will play games, but in the end, he's down to
clown, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, he is down to see who is the better man that night and just go for the kill.
Back.
Kill or be killed. It's crazy. I really feel now at featherweight this is a kill or be killed fight. So, yeah, looking for the KO money. Let's go for that one now.
Inside distance is our pick. Like, subscribe, comment. Thank you.
This is We've Been Drinking MMA. This is the second fight on the main card now for the UFC Fight Night. Bobby Green, Grant Dawson. This is light heavyweights. But these are power punchers here. Philipe Lins versus Ion Cutelaba. This is backhand. My pick is Philipe Lins.
My pick is Philipe Lins as well, but more specifically, I think he's going to end up in a knockout in this one.
Looking forward to that.
Yes. Philipe Lins used to be a heavyweight.
Yep.
He is now a 205er. He came down last fight or the fight before? One or two.
I think, yeah. He beat He's on a 3-fight win streak, I think, at light heavyweight. Prachnio knocked out Ovis St. Preux. Yeah. And then he beat Maxim Grisham. Decision.
Yeah. All 3 great fights.
Put on good performances.
Like I said, in light heavyweight, he still has that power.
He has the power. He hasn't lost it.
And he's lighter on his feet now.
Yes.
So he's moving around with his feet work and still having that power. He's not looping with his strike is.
Mm-hmm.
His strike is, by the way. That's a word. So he's coming with his power.
Coming with the power.
And he's more set up with his technical. He's not straight punches.
Yeah.
Like he's coming with his lead hook,
mm-hmm.
and then with his other hand, he's coming with his power.
I like his counterpunching ability. For a light heavyweight, he punches pretty fast going backwards too. You know, he had defensively counterpunching as well.
He had problems with that at heavyweight.
With what?
With his countering because he was a bigger guy.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Tanner Bozer knocked him out.
Mm-hmm.
They're both at 205 now, and he's just not having a problem with throwing punches anymore because he's lighter on his feet.
I feel like both of these fighters, Ion Cutelaba and Philipe Lins, they're both like not the fastest fighters. Like overall, they're kind of slow, as far as their movement going forward. So the thing is that, like Lousy said, exchanges are gonna happen. They're gonna have to happen when both fighters are. I think Philipe Lins is faster than backing up. After he goes in and out, he's faster at backing out than Cutelaba, no doubt. I think the countering's better from Philipe Lins. I think the strike arsenal is better. He throws even uppercuts in those combos. I think they're both standing. I think overall they're both standing a little bit close and can get leg kicked. But again, Philipe Lins backs up quicker, so Cutelaba is going to take more leg kicks. I think Philipe Lins has a faster leg kick. Maybe Ion Cutelaba throws with more power on the leg kicks, but Lins is faster with the leg kicks and he backs away quicker. So that's going to really help him. I think even though Cutelaba has the dynamic punch combinations, like Lazio and I were talking about earlier, like it's kind of sloppy with the combos. It's not very crisp.
Looping.
Yeah, it's like not as purposeful as Lins is like calculated, right? With the accuracy.
It's like he's setting up his striking to get to his wrestling.
And I have to agree. Like, he wants to hit you, and then when he has you just a little bit dazed, a little bit, off balance, then he goes for the wrestling. He doesn't just go for the wrestling straight off the. So, I mean, that's the kind of thing, is that he kind of does, like Lazzy said, sets up the takedowns with some punches that can land. But his top control is not the best. People get up off the ground all the time against him. And, he does have a pretty good record. His losses are usually to the ranked fighters and good fighters and fighters who are usually fast. Philipe Lins isn't the fastest fighter, but he does have pretty fast hands, and he's fast at backing out of the way. And it's gonna be basically Philipe Lins with the striking advantage, and Cutelaba who's gonna try and mix in the takedowns. But I just feel like the takedowns, the top control is not quite there. I do feel like Lins has the better arsenal with the striking. So for me, I like Philipe Lins, but for me, I want to kind of see half a round and just see how Philip Lin's how quick he is in backing away. I know Philip Lin's can do some good cage holding and do some decent grappling against the cage, and hopefully he can kind of get Cutelaba off of him when Cutelaba rushes him. And I want to just see that, and then when that happens, I'll be ready to put that bet on Philip Lin's.
This is live betting.
Live bet, yeah, he's
Okay.
plus money, and Ion Cutelaba is minus 140. He's the favorite, so Philip Lin's $100 to make 125. Even if Lin's hurts him a little bit and Lin's becomes minus 150, we know he can handle the wrestling. It's still a good price because we're thinking Philip Lin's is just more talented, better at backing up with strikes. Cutelaba really goes forward, like Lousy said, kind of sloppy with the combinations. I feel like we're both thinking that Cutelaba might be panic shot, going for panic wrestling.
Yeah.
He gets hit
He's
with
gonna
clean
feel
punches.
the power, and then
Yeah.
Philip Lin's his third fight this year specifically.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's only October.
Wow.
I think he's maybe looking for another contract. Like he's like maybe his last fight on this contract. He's like, let's get this out and let's get another contract.
He's confident.
So he's gonna come out hungry, I think.
Yeah, he wants to get a new good contract.
Yeah.
He wants a KO win.
He wants that win.
He KO'd Ovince St. Preux. That's no joke,
Convincingly.
man. Convincingly, like great combination punching with the uppercuts, and it landed.
He knocked him down, he got back up, and he knocked him down again. That type of knock.
Man, I mean, Cutelaba's not the fastest guy. I would say he's slower than Ovince.
Yeah.
So this is a situation where Cutelaba's not fast at backing up. He's slower than Ovince. He's sloppy with his punches. Lin's a great counterpuncher at light heavyweight, Chris punches, Cutelaba could get knocked out. Like you said, it's you like KO this fight ending in a KO.
Method of victory KO.
And I love it too because they're both not the fastest movers, so they're gonna have to exchange. They both hit with power. It's gonna be a super fun light heavyweight fight, but it feels like a heavyweight fight, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Like a heavy bang.
Yeah.
Stand and bang type fight.
Car crashes, bro.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Hope you guys like it. Like, subscribe, comment.
This is We've Been Drinking MMA. This is the third fight. Or is it the fourth fight? Third fight on the main card for the UFC Fight Night. Bobby Green versus Grant Dawson. This is Drew Dober at lightweight, 155 pounds, versus Ricky Glenn. And this is backhand. My prediction, my pick is Drew Dober.
My prediction is Drew Dober, too. Unfortunately, it's probably going to be a very easy fight for Drew Dober.
Yeah.
It's his style of fight.
Yeah.
He's not going to get out-wrestled. He's not going to get out-struck.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Ricky Glenn is a volume-type striker, he's not going to, outpower Drew Dober.
Right.
Drew Dober, chin has been a suspect with Matt Frivola specifically.
Right.
He got rocked.
I think he learned a valuable. He did. He learned a valuable lesson. First of all, Frivola was throwing with massive power on all of his punches that night, and Drew Dober was in and out with his fast punches, and he happened to throw one big punch to the body, and he thought it was gonna push Frivola back, and Frivola just answered with a huge overhand, and it just knocked Dober down and just finished him quickly. But I just feel like Drew Dober, that's what happens when you're going against a power puncher. You can't just throw the body and stick there. You gotta stick and move always against a power puncher.
1-2 out.
Always go out. Get the hell out of there because it's just a bomb that's waiting to explode on you. So
You can't stand in the phone booth.
I feel like I agree with you, man. I mean, obviously, Drew Dober's a huge favorite, minus $480 to make 100, and it's probably going to keep going up throughout the week. So minus, it's a hefty price. But Drew Dober's a ranked fighter, and that's why it is a hefty price. Even though it's crazy because who's main eventing is Grant Dawson. This fight card, Grant Dawson is fighting Bobby Green. Grant Dawson is a minus 400 favorite, and Ricky Glenn, who is Dober's opponent in this fight, Glenn had a draw versus Grant Dawson a few fights ago. It's kind of crazy that Dober's this much of a favorite over that, but
because Ricky Glenn made Grant Dawson strike.
Exactly.
And that's not Grant Dawson's
And that's the thing. It's all about styles makes fights, and Glenn has, had good takedown defense, good enough. And in the third round, he just started stuffing the takedowns, meaning he was just defending the takedowns perfectly. He just saw Grant Dawson going for his legs and just, put the hand on the guy on Grant Dawson's head or on his shoulders and just moved out of the way. Simple as that. He read the wrestling, and he was good at that. But as far as striking, that's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about wrestling. This is striking against Drew Dober. And, Ricky Glenn just walks into punches. You saw him walk into punches versus Christos Giagos and get knocked out in the first round. He doesn't have any distance control. And because of that, Drew Dober is one of these guys who's a ranked fighter, and it's not because of his wrestling. It's all because of his striking. And he's got, quick, powerful punches, combination punches, fast leg kicks. And it's just going to be bad for a guy who's just walking into punches, you know. So that's why Drew Dober is a massive favorite, and I think Drew Dober will learn from that lesson against a power puncher. Ricky Glenn is not a power puncher. There's no threat from Ricky Glenn in this fight, in my opinion.
He is a volume striker, and Drew Dober's more of a power guy. So.
He is power, but at the same time, Drew Dober, he can break people down, and just Glenn just walking into punches means that I feel like even Dober by KO, I want to see that price when it comes out on Tuesday or Wednesday, and I want to see that.
That's the only way is by propping this, unless you want to put Drew Dober on a parlay.
I want to throw him on a parlay for sure.
Yeah, there you go.
No doubt he'll be part of a parlay. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. This is kind of self-explanatory. Glenn is not a striker, and Dober is just going to take him out, in my opinion. So,
yeah, like, subscribe, comment. This is We've Been Drinking MMA. We are on the 4th fight in the main card, Alex Morono versus Joaquin Buckley. I'm going Joaquin Buckley.
Yep, and this is backhand. My pick is going to be Alex Morono. And, Buckley's the favorite in this fight. Joaquin Buckley is minus 175, 175 to make 100. He's got a 4-inch reach advantage over Morono. And could be a very interesting fight. They both throw with some heat. Buckley with a lot more power, and Buckley with the amazing head kick knockouts that we all crave. So everyone, whenever they watch Joaquin Buckley, we're always waiting to see if he's going to throw those special spinning kicks to the face.
The flare.
Yes, and you never know when he is ready for it. Man, he can really just change a fight with one strike. Morono's not that type of a guy who can change a fight with one strike.
No,
he's just not.
Volume
puncher.
And he's a BJJ guy, so
yeah,
yes,
I feel
that's what I think he's known for anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, they both were doing good. Like Joaquin Buckley is 4-2 in his last 6, and the only 2 losses are against a guy who main evented versus Sean Strickland, the current champion, about 2 months ago or 3 months ago, and then Chris Curtis, who's a perennial top 10. And then his wins are against, Albert Duraev, who we got respect for, Alhassan, who is the co-main event in this card. We got Arroyo, and then Andre Fiallo, who he knocked out currently in his last fight. Solid record.
Buckley's pressure and his power, that's why I think he's going to win this fight. Absolutely.
And then you got Morono. Morono is on a 5-1 in his last 6. The reason I think Morono is, a little bit underrated in this fight is because he just got knocked out 2 fights ago by Santiago Ponzinibbio, which I just want to say he took that fight on 6 days' notice. He did good because 2 judges in that fight against Santiago Ponzinibbio, 2 judges gave the first 2 rounds to Alex Morono. And in the third round, Morono just, Ponzinibbio, they were trading, and Ponzinibbio just hit him with something that stuck. And Morono just froze standing. He got hit, and he got stuck. It stuck him, and it just fell down after that. I think 6 days notice is really tough to get the conditioning up to handle, a 3-round fight. But if Morono just stayed away, theoretically, if Morono just ran away for that round, he would have won the fight because 2 judges had him up 2 rounds. So in a 6, I'm just saying, Ponzinibbio, I have respect for him. We all know he's a good fighter, solid fighter, who's been in the top 15 for a long time. He's got a win over Matthew Semmelsberger, Mickey Gall. We all know these guys. KO over Donald Cerrone. When Cerrone was not thinking about retiring. Tim Means, who just had a resurgence with a nice knockout win over Andre Fiallo. Tim Means got submitted in the second round by Alex Morono. Admittedly, Tim Means does get subbed a lot. He's got like 6 submission losses. But anyways, it's a really good fight, I think. For me, Alex Morono, like Lousy said, throws with volume, and Joaquin throws with power. Also, Buckley has really gotten more patient, like Lousy said, and he's really trying to time people a lot better.
Instead of just going head hunting, he's much more patient.
And which is honestly fair. Once you head kick knock out somebody like Kasangane in your second fight in the UFC, you want to be that fan favorite who just goes for these crazy knockouts. And I think he started to develop who he was when he started realizing that you can't just do that against everybody. And now he's turned into more of a patient knockout guy, which is very smart growth by him. Alex Morono is 12-5 in the UFC. And Joaquin Buckley is 6-4 in the UFC. So Morono has a slightly better record in the UFC. Joaquin Buckley has been KO'd 3 times. And Morono has been KO'd twice. But one of those was against Ponzinibbio. But no excuses, he got KO'd. And then the rest of them are losses by decision. I feel like Morono is one of those guys. Looks like a tricky vet. He's been in the UFC for a long time now. He's got like 15 fights or so, 17
He's a bag
fights.
of tricks for sure.
Man, he's got a bag of tricks, man. He's going in and out all the time, hopping in and out, just like he's on coffee, like a lot of caffeine, just in and out, in and out. He's very sneaky by manipulating that distance. You don't know when he's going to strike you. You don't know when he's going to throw a kick. He throws mostly punches, but you don't know whether it's going to be a 1-2, 2 punches or 3 punches. You don't know whether the first punch is going to get you or if he's setting it up for the third punch to hit you hard. He's really sneaky, and I think people are underestimating Morono's sneakiness, for lack of a better word. I think his punches are fast. His counter punches are fast, so he can hit you going backwards, going forward. I think one problem with him, though, is he does check leg kicks, and he gets out of the way of body kicks pretty good, but he does not block head kicks. And Joaquin Buckley's specialty is head kicks. So I could see this, Buckley ending it with a head kick. I honestly could right here. This is a dangerous, dangerous fight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bet Alex Morono. He is an underdog. I'm getting plus money on this. Plus 150.
He's a better fighter.
He's a better fighter overall. Buckley has just got power, and it's hard to just match Buckley punch for punch. And when Buckley is on his game, it's not easy to beat the guy. That's why he's the favorite. 4-inch reach advantage. Buckley, in my opinion, he's got good distance control. He's really been improving that distance control. He's not getting sloppy anymore. He's mostly a kicker, but he does throw combos with a lot of hooks. He throws lots of different looping hooks. And he's got fast leg kicks, head kicks. I feel like as the fight goes on, though, he is a power striker. But sometimes he gets a little bit close, and with Morono manipulating distance, it could be a little bit of a tougher fight than what maybe the odds makers are thinking. I think he has a huge reach over fighters at 170. I just think that maybe if he used his jab a little bit more, he would have maybe a better success rate and start winning by decision rather than having to win by KO all the time. He's got a huge reach. He's a very talented athlete. I just think that right now the experience, the fact that Morono's 12-5 in the UFC and Buckley is 6-4 in the UFC, the fact that Morono's got the experience, he's been ranked higher than Buckley in the past, maybe not now. The fact that he's in and out and hard to read, it's going to be really, really tough for Buckley to time that. But like I said, Buckley with the head kick KO, totally possible. And so what I want to do is I want to bet Morono, and I want to see what Buckley is on Wednesday when the props come out. I want to see what Buckley by KO is, and I want to get some insurance. You know what I mean? Because Buckley by head kick knockout, and I saw Morono walking into head kicks sometimes. So I'm like, man, this could end in a head kick knockout easily by Buckley. I just think Morono with the in and out movement, with the higher volume of strikes, is going to land, and the judges are going to maybe score it for him on some of the rounds. It's going to be a really good fight, but you're going to get that insurance for Buckley by KO as well. Small bet on that.
Joaquin Buckley for the win for me.
Yep, and I'm going Morono. It should be a fun fight, guys.
Like, subscribe, comment.
This is We Been Drinking MMA. This is the co-main event of the UFC Fight Night. Bobby Green versus Grant Dawson. This is at middleweight, 185 pounds. It's Joe Pyfer versus Abdul, Razak, Alhassan. And my pick, this is backhand, is Joe Pyfer.
This is lousy. I am going Joe Pyfer as well, probably by knockout.
KO. Pyfer by KO is the actual pick, man. He's minus 480, $480 to make 100, which is huge price. However, both these fighters have 100% finish rate, meaning when they win by finish, knockout or submission, and it's usually knockout with these guys. They throw with heavy power.
Yeah, this is a phone booth, stand and bang type throwing, and I
100%.
think Pyfer has more power. So
yeah,
this is flat out, there's more power and it's faster.
Faster, so. Exactly. Like, why are we talking?
Yeah, we done?
I'm betting. That's what I'm doing.
You use them as a parlay because the money on this is kind of crazy.
Yes, minus 480 to make 100. We're waiting for Tuesday or Wednesday when the props come out and we can get Joe Pyfer by KO. Hopefully it'll be like minus 150 or 150 to make 100, something like that. They both stand too close. They both are phone booth fighters. The only thing is that Alhassan is just slow. And like Lousy said, Joe Pyfer is fast. He backs away quick from punches, and he's just a power puncher with really good timing. And Alhassan, he's a power striker as well, but he again doesn't move out of the way, and he doesn't have any really head movement that I saw much. And he's got slow head movement, slow reactions. Joe Pyfer does have one loss in the UFC by KO, but it was a fluke KO in my opinion. He got body slammed on his head. He actually put his hand down, and his head still got hit.
Gray Maynard type style.
Gray Maynard from Frankie Edgar. Phenomenal. That was like 10, 15 years ago.
That was a long time ago. Yeah.
Nice, man. Yeah, exactly. He basically got, it was just ridiculous kind of thing, and it was like his early fight in the UFC. In fact, I think it was Contender Series. So it was like 5 fights ago. It was during Contender Series, and Dustin Stofholtz picked him up, and he tried to body slam him, and Pyfer put his hand down, but then it's still somehow the momentum still got Pyfer's head to like hit the ground, and his neck just kind of, it was actually kind of weird, and then Pyfer just got knocked out from that. It was really fluky, lucky. And anyways, Pyfer is fast with the punches and the really good timing and the power and the shot choices. He knows when to punch you with the timing. Alhassan is throwing with really good power, but he loads up on all of his punches, his kicks, his punches. He's loading up really slowly, so you can see it coming a mile away. And Joe Pyfer is good at reading punches. So overall, he's just a really good striker and good striking defense with backing away and with his head movement. So it should be a Joe Pyfer by KO. Is the pick, and can't wait for those odds to come out on Tuesday.
Yeah, like, subscribe, comment. This is We've Been Drinking MMA. We are on the main event, Grant Dawson versus Bobby Green. My prediction is Grant Dawson in a boring lay-and-pray fight.
Indeed. I don't think he ground and pounds too much, right? Decision makes a lot of sense. For me, this backhand, my pick is going to be Bobby Green. He's plus 300, man. $100 to make 300. He's a live dog in my eyes.
Just for the money, almost makes you want to bet it.
You have to, man. I mean, honestly, like, it might be smart. Like, we'll see when the odds come out on Tuesday and Wednesday for the props. Like, what's Grant Dawson by decision? What's the fight going the distance? What's Bob, and all that type of stuff. Bobby Green by KO or whatever, Just want to see all those odds, but overall, I just think, Grant Dawson is definitely getting better from fight to fight. I feel like, though, 2 fights ago he got knocked down. He did win it, and in convincing fashion. I think it was a submission over Mark Madsen in the 3rd round, but he got knocked down in the first, 2 minutes by a guy who is a nobody, and Grant Dawson is here in the main event. First time main eventing minus 380. I mean, come on, 380 to make 100 on this when he just got knocked down in the first round 2 fights ago. His last fight, he beat Damir Ismagulov, who's a nobody.
Well, he used to be a top tier fighter, Damir.
Now top tier, never ranked though.
He was ranked.
You're right. He was ranked. I'm sorry. So yeah, he was top 15. You're right.
But then he's starting. He got demolished by a fighter that's a top tier fighter.
Bad style matchup.
And then he retired.
Yeah.
And then he came back.
You're right.
I believe this is the fight where he came back.
That's fair.
Against Grant.
That's fair. Grant did control him which is hard because the guy's really good at getting off of the ground. So Grant Dawson just controlled him. Yeah. Actually, I kind of remember that fight. I remember picking that fight. We actually did the predictions for that fight, I think.
Yeah.
But I remember, we were like, oh, Grant Dawson's going to control him or whatever. But listen, Grant Dawson is improving from fight to fight. I just feel like, he's not like a clean double leg guy. He can do that. But like against Ricky Glenn, who that was like 4 fights ago, man, he was doing good in the first round, dominating in the first. Second even was doing good. He was up 2 rounds, and in the 3rd round, he just started getting very obvious, going for the little double leg takedowns.
That's all he can do.
Yeah,
he doesn't have strike.
And he kept doing over, and Glenn kept stuffing, meaning blocking the takedowns and getting away. And then Glenn got on top of him and almost submitted him. Honestly, if the fight kept going on, Dawson couldn't even get back up.
Like another minute in that
Dude,
fight.
Another freaking 15 seconds, and Dawson would have been unconscious. He was that close. So I feel like, essentially, in my opinion, he lost to Ricky Glenn, which is a huge stain. And if that went as a loss on his record versus Ricky Glenn instead of a draw, there's no way he has minus 380 versus Bobby Green this weekend.
It might be even.
It would be probably Dawson, maybe minus 200, maybe.
Yeah.
Just because the wrestling, and we know Green got dominated by Makhachev in wrestling like 4 fights ago. So
Bobby Green's a very entertaining fighter there, though.
No
doubt.
In my opinion, man, exactly. Like Bobby Green is good, is getting better at keeping the distance. He's not great at it. He has got his hands down. He's an exciting fighter. It's hard to put money on Bobby because he does play around in there a lot, and he's there to entertain. Fast combos, slick head movement, counters.
Crazy volume,
hands down. He's very entertaining. Not like Tony Ferguson. Obviously, he came back to fight Bobby Green, and Bobby Green was like minus 500 in the fight, minus 400, and big favorite. And it didn't mean that much. Obviously, at that point, beating somebody with that type of odds, especially Tony Ferguson coming off with that many losses in a row. Even though Tony Ferguson's a legend, it's still that many losses. And Bobby Green with the win, I get it. It doesn't mean as much as it should have been maybe 3 years ago or something. But Bobby Green did a good job, not getting taken down against the fence by Tony Ferguson. Like I said, I understand it doesn't mean that much. Tony Ferguson is not what he used to be. I get that. But I'm just saying his IQ with his shot choice is getting better. I think his distance is getting slightly better. I think the fact that he could, in the Makachev fight, going back to the Makachev fight where he got ground and pounded in the first round, taken down and ground and pounded, I feel like he did get taken down. He was trying to get back up. He was trying. Makachev just kind of mounted him on the back a little bit, but Green had like a minute 20 left in the round. Makachev hit the ground a lot, didn't hit Green very clean, and Herb Dean stepped in. I feel before I just thought that Makachev completely destroyed him, but then I watched that fight again yesterday or something, and I saw that, man, I think Herb Dean might have stopped that fight. Green popped right back up and started complaining to Herb Dean. I really actually look at it like, wow, I feel like Green is a lot better than what people think at takedown defense, or at least getting up off the ground from wrestlers. And so I feel like all that is making this into hyperinflated favorite for Dawson. The fact that he did a draw instead of getting submitted by Ricky Len 4 fights ago, that is why he's overinflated. He should have lost that fight probably if it went on. He would have definitely lost in my opinion. Bobby Green got destroyed by Islam Makhachev, but in reality I thought it was an early stoppage. That's the reason why it's so overinflated. I think minus 200 for Grant Dawson would be a lot more realistic. And I just feel like Bobby Green plus 300, give me the dog. Give me the dog money.
Yeah, plus 300 for a person. He's facing a guy who's one-sided fighter. If he's able to stop that one-sidedness of the other fighter, it's going to be an easy fight.
If Green stuffs one takedown and lights Dawson up just once, just a little bit, the odds will become minus 150 for Dawson or something like that. I guarantee you. So my point is, even if it's a small bet that I'm going to do on Bobby Green, which is admittedly going to be a small bet, dude, if Bobby Green just stuffs couple takedowns, one takedown, and just hits him a few times, the odds are going to be completely different because everyone's going to be screaming for the hills like, oh shit, why did we bet Dawson at minus 400? Yeah. So it's one of those things. I think you're thinking Dawson by decision.
Dawson by decision because his pressure and his wrestling.
For sure.
It's good. I think it's going to be a lay and pray type fight, and it's going to be boring.
I want to see like what the distance bet is, all that stuff on Wednesday. It's going to be very interesting to see that. But, again, just to sum it all up, my pick, this is backhand, is Bobby Green.
And mine is Grant Dawson.
Thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate you.
Like, subscribe, comment.